The $2.3 billion Interstate 10 Calcasieu River Bridge project in Lake Charles is about to begin.
River Bridge is about to be replaced, and it's expected to be a lengthy construction.
If you live in California, then I have some good news for you. The Calcasieu River Bridge in Lake Charles, Louisiana, is finally being demolished. It's a bridge that had been built for a different era, and it's finally time to phase it out. In its place, a fully modern 6-lane bridge is being built, but not everyone is on board with this plan. Let's get into it. To understand why this bridge is such a big deal, you need to understand where it sits. Right on Interstate 10, which is one of the biggest American highways. It runs from Santa Monica, California, all the way to Jacksonville and Florida. That's nearly 2,500 miles of continuous road stitching to gather the entire southern half of the country. And right in the middle of that route, in the southwestern corner of Louisiana, where it crosses the Calcasieu River at Lake Charles. This is a major freight route, and the bridge handling all of that traffic was designed and built in the early 1950s. Think about what the world looked like in 1952. There were no interstate standards yet, and even the interstate highway system itself did not even exist as a formal program until 1956. For decades, the bridge just kept going because maintenance crews patched it. Louisiana kept it open because there was no real alternative. Closing the Calcasieu River Bridge on I-10 could cause a regional economic event. Here's the part that should really grab your attention. The bridge has not just aged, it has been rated structurally deficient. That is a real federal classification, which means it no longer meets modern safety and performance standards in key areas. Repairs have been patched on top of repairs for years, but at a certain point, the math simply stops working. You are spending significant money maintaining something that is still a 1952 structure trying to survive a 2020s workload. And Louisiana reached that point, and once the state acknowledged it, the question stopped being whether to replace the bridge and started being how.
Well, Acadiana residents traveling to Texas and beyond have crossed the I-10 bridge in Lake Charles.
The bridge is often listed in articles as one of the most dangerous bridges in the country.
Let's be specific, because the problems with this bridge go beyond just age. First, the lanes are narrow. Modern highway design standards call for lanes that give drivers and trucks real room to maneuver. But the Calcasieu River Bridge does not meet those standards. When two large trucks pass each other going opposite directions, the margin between them is uncomfortable at best. Second, and this is the one that causes the most daily frustration, there are no shoulders. On a normal highway, if your car breaks down, you pull onto the shoulder and wait for help. On this bridge, there is nowhere to go. A disabled vehicle does not just inconvenience drivers, it shuts down the lane entirely. On a bridge over a river with no alternate route nearby, that becomes a serious problem fast. The third problem is the incline. The bridge rises steeply to allow the river to pass beneath it. That grade is brutal for heavy trucks. Fully loaded 18-wheelers slow way down on that climb, and when that happens, everything behind them slows too. During peak hours, this problem can back up traffic for miles. And then you add in the storm season. When a major hurricane threatens the Louisiana coast, I-10 becomes an evacuation route for many people. Everyone from coastal communities pours onto the highway heading inland. The kind of surge traffic that hits this bridge is an emergency management concern. Bottlenecks during evacuations can cost lives. So here is what Louisiana is actually building. The new structure will be a modern concrete bridge with 6 full lanes, 3 in each direction. That alone is a massive upgrade from what exists today. But the lanes themselves are also built to current interstate standards, meaning they are wider and safer. Critically, the new bridge will have full shoulders on both sides. That means disabled vehicles have somewhere to go, and emergency crews have somewhere to access. And traffic does not get choked off by a single breakdown. The project does not stop at the bridge itself. This is a comprehensive rebuild of 5.5 miles of Interstate 10 through the Lake Charles area. Interchanges, ramps, and connecting roads all get redesigned and reconstructed to modern standards. Think about what that means in practice. Every on-ramp and off-ramp in that stretch gets rebuilt. The geometry of the highway gets corrected where it does not meet current safety standards. The goal is a better system. When you drive through that section of Lake Charles once this project is done, it will feel like a modern highway built for modern traffic.
The new bridge will be built next to the old one. Then once completed, the old bridge will be demolished.
And the old bridge, once traffic shifts to the new structure, it comes down. The name of this video is not just dramatic framing, because the demolition of that 1952 bridge is actually part of the plan. It will get removed, and the river will get its clearance back. When you step back and look at the full scope, this is one of the largest infrastructure projects Louisiana has ever undertaken. $2.5 billion, 5.5 miles of rebuilt freeway. It is the kind of project that only comes around a few times in a generation. When does all of this actually happen? According to current plans, major construction is expected to get underway around 2026. It is a multi-year build, and the target is to have traffic shifting over to the new bridge somewhere around 2030 or 2031. That might sound like a long time, but for a project of this complexity, that timeline is actually fairly aggressive.
And federal funding covers $1.2 billion of the project's overall cost. The remaining costs will be covered through toll revenue.
Now, where does $2.4 billion come from? This is where it gets interesting. The project is being delivered through what is called a public-private partnership, or a P3. That means it is not purely a government-funded job. State money, federal infrastructure funds, and private investment are all being combined to make the financing work. The private piece of that equation gets paid back over time through tolls. Once the new bridge opens, drivers and trucks using it will pay a toll. And that revenue flows back to the private investors who helped fund the construction. Public-private partnerships have become increasingly common for large infrastructure projects across the United States. The logic is straightforward. Governments can move faster and take on larger projects when they are not funding everything out of the public budget alone. States like Virginia, Texas, and Florida have used P3 structures to build major highway projects that might have sat on waiting lists for decades under traditional funding methods. The federal infrastructure bill passed in recent years has also encouraged this kind of creative financing by making federal funds easier to blend with private capital. But as we will get to in a moment, that logic does not always win over the people actually living near the project and paying the tolls. Not everyone is celebrating. The introduction of tolls on Interstate 10 is genuinely controversial in Louisiana. Interstate highways in the United States were originally built as free roads. In fact, it is part of the founding promise of the interstate system. The idea that you would now pay to use a stretch of I-10 that has always been free does not sit well with a lot of local residents, and especially not with trucking companies that move freight through this corridor every single day. Those tolls are not a one-time charge. They are a permanent operating cost for every trucker, every commuter, and every family in the region who drives across that bridge regularly. The cost argument is connected to this. $2.4 billion is a staggering number for a single route in a state that is not exactly flush with infrastructure funding. Critics have questioned whether a project of this scale is truly necessary, whether the design is more expensive than it needs to be, and whether Louisiana taxpayers and road users are getting good value. When you are the person paying a toll every time you cross a bridge near your home, those are fair questions to ask. And when the answers come from government agencies and private investors, who all have a financial stake in the project moving forward, it is reasonable to want independent scrutiny. Then there is the environmental piece. The project covers a significant area, and that area includes wetlands. Louisiana's wetlands are a critical natural system that buffers the coastline against storm surge, filters water, and provides habitat for wildlife. The state has already lost enormous amounts of coastal wetland over the past century due to subsidence, rising sea levels, and industrial activity. Environmental groups have been watching this project carefully. Opponents of the project have raised concerns about the scale of environmental impact, whether the mitigation plans are adequate, and whether alternatives were fully explored before committing to a design this large. These concerns reflect real tensions that large infrastructure projects always create between economic development and environmental protection. Louisiana has experienced that tension more painfully than almost any other state. The project has faced legal challenges along the way, and debates continue over the toll structure and financing terms. This is how democracy is supposed to work. Big public decisions get scrutinized, challenged, and refined. Here is the bottom line. The Calcasieu River Bridge is a 70-year-old piece of infrastructure trying to carry a 21st century load. It is narrow, it has no shoulders. It creates a bottleneck that costs the regional economy real money every single day. And when disaster strikes, it becomes a critical vulnerability for everyone trying to get out of harm's way. The $2.4 billion replacement plan is not perfect. The tolls are a real burden, particularly for working-class families and small trucking operations that cannot simply absorb a new recurring cost. The environmental concerns deserve honest attention and an independent review. And the price tag is genuinely enormous for a state that has so many other infrastructure needs competing for funding. These are legitimate objections that deserve to stay in the conversation, even as construction moves forward. But when you weigh all of that against the alternative, which is patching a deficient 1952 bridge indefinitely, while traffic volumes keep climbing and hurricane seasons keep intensifying, the case for replacement is hard to argue against. At some point, the risk of doing nothing outweighs the cost of doing something. By the early 2030s, if everything goes to plan, drivers and truckers on I-10 will cross a modern, safe, fully shouldered bridge over the Calcasieu River, and the old one will be gone. Whether they think the toll is worth it is a different question entirely. But here is something to think about. America has thousands of bridges rated structurally deficient right now. Should they all be rebuilt with toll-funded public-private partnerships, or should the government be paying for critical infrastructure directly? Let me know what you think in the comments below. And if you found this video interesting, make sure you subscribe. We cover the infrastructure stories that actually matter,